Look at your bank balance right now. That number feels real, solid, earned, protected. You probably checked it today without thinking twice. You trusted it. You planned around it. You may have even worried about it. But here is the uncomfortable question most people never stop to ask. What if that money docentee actually exists? Not in your wallet, not in a vault, not even as cash waiting somewhere with your name on it. What if the system that controls your work, your savings, your future, and even your freedom is built almost entirely on phantom money digital entries that can be created, adjusted, frozen, or erased with a few keystrokes? If money today is mostly numbers on a screen, then who controls the screen? And what happens when faith in those numbers disappears? For most of human history, money was something you could touch. Gold, silver, livestock, grain, real things with real limits. If you held it, you owned it. No permission required. Value was physical, visible, and difficult to fake. Trust came from scarcity, not institutions. Then banks entered the picture. At first, banks were simple. They stored valuables and issued paper receipts as proof of ownership. Those receipts weren't money themselves. They were claims to something real sitting in a vault. But over time, a dangerous realization took hold. Most people never came back to collect their gold. The receipts kept circulating on their own. So banks began issuing more receipts than gold they actually possessed. This was the birth of fractional reserve banking, and with it, the birth of phantom money. The system worked as long as nobody asked too many questions at the same time. Money stopped being a thing and became a promise, a belief, a shared illusion. At first, this illusion fueled growth. Trade expanded, economies accelerated, credit became easier. But every loan created new money out of nothing, and every repayment destroyed it. Money was no longer a stable unit of value. It became elastic, expandable, and deeply tied to debt. The 20th century pushed this system to its limits. World wars, depressions, and global instability forced governments to seek flexibility above all else. Gold became inconvenient. Physical limits became obstacles. So one decision after another loosened the connection between money and reality. The final break came when money was no longer backed by anything tangible at all, only trust in governments and central banks. Computers then transformed everything. Bank ledgers went digital. Transactions that once took days now took seconds. Global finance exploded. Credit cards, online banking, instant transfers, all of it felt like progress. And in many ways, it was. But something fundamental changed beneath the surface. Money stopped representing stored value and started representing leverage. A single unit of currency could be loaned, reloaned, packaged, securitized, and multiplied across the system. 1 hour of human labor could support dozens of digital claims. Wealth no longer grew from production alone, but from financial engineering. Phantom money wasn't just tolerated. It became the foundation of the modern economy. Every system built on belief eventually faces a moment of truth. For phantom money, that moment arrives when too many people ask the same question at once. Can I actually get my money back? History has already shown us what happens next. Bank runs, liquidity crises, frozen accounts, emergency measures. In 2008, the global financial system didn't almost collapse because money vanished. It nearly collapsed because trust did. Banks didn't know which numbers were real. Institutions didn't trust each other's balance sheets. Ordinary people discovered that their savings existed inside systems designed to protect the system first, not the individual. The response was not reform. It was escalation. Central banks created trillions of new digital units to stabilize markets. Quantitative easing became normal. Emergency policies became permanent tools. The illusion was preserved, but the cost was hidden. When phantom money expands, it doesn't affect everyone equally. Those closest to the source benefit first. Asset prices rise. Stocks soar. Real estate inflates. Meanwhile, wages lag behind. Savings quietly lose purchasing power. Just rising prices at the silent transfer of value from those who earn to those who control money creation. Most people feel the pain but can't see the cause. They argue about groceries, rent, fuel, and interest rates without realizing they're reliving inside a system where money multiplies faster than real value. The system doesn't fail dramatically. It erodes slowly, invisibly, year after year. Every few years, new fixes are proposed. More regulations, better oversight, smarter rules. But these solutions avoid the core issue. In the modern system, money is no longer owned, it is accessed. Your wealth exists with permission. It lives in databases you don't control, governed by rules you didn't design, enforced by institutions that prioritize stability over individuals. Even alternatives that promise freedom often recreate the same structure with new branding, different interfaces, same dependency. The problem isn't technology. The problem is a system built on perpetual debt, a system that must grow endlessly or collapse. And endless growth demands a future that keeps paying for the present. Today, digital balances update instantly. Central banks discuss programmable money. Financial surveillance increases in the name of safety and efficiency. Once again, the public is told this is progress. And once again, abstraction increases, control centralizes, and responsibility disappears. The further money moves from reality, the easier it becomes to manipulate, the harder it becomes for ordinary people to protect themselves. Here are the truths most people are never told. First, money today is not a thing. It is a system of trust and control. Once you understand that, you see work, savings, and security differently. Second, phantom money always grows faster than real value. When that gap widens, instability follows. It always has. Third, systems built on belief survive only as long as belief remains unchallenged. The real danger isn't that money is digital. The danger is that most people don't realize what they've agreed to. A life measured in numbers that can change without consent. A future dependent on systems that reward scale over stability. The question is not whether phantom money will face another reckoning. The question is whether you will recognize it when it arrives. If this video changed how you think about money, share it with someone who still believes a bank balance tells the full story. Subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden systems shaping your life, because the first step toward freedom is seeing the illusion clearly.